Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another live stream fishing show. Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another live stream fishing show. That's right, it's Sunday night and we're going to be talking all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more. We're going to get this show on the road here very shortly. Running a few minutes behind tonight. Sorry about that, guys, but we will get started very, very shortly. Appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging out with me. As always, don't forget to comment where you're watching from. Make sure to share this video with friends. And also, don't forget to like our page, subscribe to us on YouTube, all that good stuff. We'd appreciate it. We are going to get started here in about 5 minutes, about 8:35. We'll get rolling, and that's when we will kick up the video. If you're watching live, just bear with us a few minutes, and we'll get started here shortly. If you're not watching live, if it's not Sunday night, March 29th at 8:31 p.m., you can skip forward to where you see the video start. If you're watching live, just bear with us. We're going to get started here very shortly. Appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us tonight. Tonight is a unique show. We are closed right now, so Hubbard's Marina is closed. So due to that, I don't have any support staff. So last week we had someone custom hand typing up the YouTube comments so we could give away free stuff on YouTube as well. Unfortunately, tonight I don't have any support, so we will not be giving away anything on YouTube, unfortunately, because I don't have someone to sit there and type the whole show like I did last week. So no free trips on YouTube, just on Facebook. So if you comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook video stream, that enters you to win. And we will be giving away a free 5-hour half day for 2, free 10-hour all day for 2, and a 39-hour fishing trip for 1 if we get up to 400 live viewers. If we're under 400 live viewers, someone's going to get a half price 39-hour trip for 1. Just keep in mind, guys, because of the closure, it will take a while to get those free trip certificates. They're not going to be sent out right away like normal because we are closed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about everything tonight, and we're going to answer your questions. And we're going to get started with the show here shortly. Just give me a few minutes to get started, and we'll start rolling. So appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're new to the show, again, make sure you comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Make sure you tell your friends to tune in and join the fun. Make sure you like the video on Facebook. Give it a thumbs up on YouTube. I would appreciate it. And make sure you grab a drink, sit back, relax, and the show will begin very shortly. We always start off the show by showing photos of what we've been catching, what's been going on, talk a little bit about that, and then we get into what's coming up, and then we get into your questions. You can see in the top right corner of the screen is our phone number. All you have to do is text that phone number your question. So if you have a question you want answered live, text that phone number your question, and we will answer it live during the show. So make sure to get your questions in. If you have a question you want answered, you got to text it in to that number in the top upper right hand corner of your screen. So if you have a question you want answered, again, text it in. And if you want a chance to win free fishing trips, you do have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That's how you get entered to win one of those free trips. We are giving away a free 5-hour half day for 2, free 10-hour all day for 2, and a 39-hour fishing trip for 1 if we get up to 400 live viewers between Facebook and YouTube. Already tonight, we are sitting at about 280 live viewers, and we haven't even started yet. So I would imagine we're probably going to get there and give away one of those free 39-hour fishing trips. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Hey guys, how are you tonight? Hope everybody is safe at home and relaxing. I am at home, safe and relaxing with my son Jack and my wife Emily, and we've been getting a lot of stuff done around the house. All the projects that I haven't had time for and have been putting off. Got a lot of time on my hands to get all those projects done. So my front yard is immaculate. My garage is gonna get immaculate tomorrow. My office, you can't see it because of this beautiful backdrop, but it's beautiful right now. So lots of cleaning. I assume that's what a lot of people around here are doing. Right now, for those of you out of state, just to bring you up to date what's going on with the virus, because I know that's going to be a lot of questions tonight is related to the virus. So as far as what's going on here in Pinellas County, currently, I can pull up the numbers. They have this really cool, Florida Department of Health has this really cool interactive map that I have been watching pretty closely. But right now, currently in Pinellas, there's 116 cases in Pinellas, confirmed cases. There's nearly 5,000 in the state. So quite a few numbers of cases in our county and even more in the state. So what the county of Pinellas is doing, Pinellas is where we're located, that's our county. They have a safe at home order. So what that means is essentially they want everybody to stay at home unless you have to go out to the grocery store, pharmacy, one of those essential places, which is basically grocery store, pharmacy, auto repair, that kind of stuff. If you have to leave your house for something essential, you're able to. But other than that, they want you at home and they want you staying 6 feet away from people, groups of 10 or less, unless it's your family unit. So that's kind of what's going on in Pinellas. So we closed before this safe at home order was issued. That was issued probably midweek this past week, where Hubbard's Marina, our family business, we closed this past Monday, the 23rd. So we closed our doors because we felt it was the best thing to do. It was a super, super tough decision, but I've got a 7-month-old son here at the house that I was worried about. I was worried about my wife, and I didn't feel that it was fair if I'm worried about my son and my wife to continue to be open and have my staff working subjected to possibly getting a virus. And then also, of course, our fishing friends, you guys watching the show, didn't feel it was fair or right to continue operating. So that's why we closed our doors at Hubbard's Marina, and we are tentatively planning, hoping, praying that we're going to be able to open up April 7th. That's Tuesday. That is our goal. But time is going to tell, because with this safe at home order from Pinellas County, essentially we cannot have more than 10 people on a trip, and 10 people on a trip is not really enough to make a 39-hour trip happen or one of these longer trips happen. So we are definitely evaluating that and hopefully going to open up April 7th. But if anything changes, we'll definitely let you know via our social media videos, via our email newsletter. So make sure you stay tuned. We are trying to do daily updates. If you haven't been catching them, I'm still going down to the marina, checking on things, trying to catch the sunrise, and also doing a quick video to update you guys as well. So that is what's going on with the virus right now. So we'll just get that out of the way right now, so that way we can focus on nearshore and offshore fishing the rest of this show. Remember, we're going to talk about what's been going on, what we're catching. We're going to show you photos, and then we're going to get into your questions. And in order for your question to be answered live, you got to text it to that number right there, guys, the 727-393-1947 number. Shoot us a text at that number with your question, and we'll answer it live during the show. All right, so inshore, what's been going on? The flounder bite has definitely picked up. A lot of people have been reaching out to me asking, hey, what can I target inshore that I can take home and eat? Because right now, Publix grocery stores, a lot of grocery stores, it's just been difficult because people are losing their minds and just over purchasing at the grocery store. So a lot of people are going out and catching fish for their meals, and flounder is a great take home and eat fish for sure. I love eating some flounder. They're difficult to fillet, but they're a lot of fun to target. They love those sandy bottom areas. They love those soft plastics dragged slowly above, just right above the bottom. Sandy drop off, sandy edges of the grass flats. In the passes, you can catch them. This one is John Sasser. You can see Hubbard's Marina in the background. He caught that from the beach on the northwest side of Johns Pass Bridge. The mackerel have been thick as well. Mackerel's another fish that you can take home and eat around the mouth of Tampa Bay, around Egmont Key, Fort DeSoto, Johns Pass, Clearwater Pass, pretty much any pass just off the beaches and around the mouth of the pass. The mackerel have been thick. The pompano bite has been really good. We've been seeing a lot of pompano around Johns Pass jetties, and I get that question a lot. Yes, the jetties are open. We've been seeing a lot of people down there fishing, so you can fish from the jetties right now, but you definitely have to unfortunately navigate your way there because that public parking lot is closed. With that public parking lot closed, you have to find alternative parking. A lot of people are parking in the Johns Pass parking garage and making their way down the jetty underneath the bridge. But there's a lot of different ways you can get out there for sure. There is another pompano. Some redfish biting around the structure for sure. Docks, mangrove shorelines, oyster bars, a lot of redfish around. Residential docks have been going really well for those redfish. This one was caught right off an oyster bar. A lot of sheep's head around right now. This was prior to the beach's closure. You can see all the people in the background on the beach. This was last week because we didn't have a show last week, this past Sunday. So this was from 2 weeks ago. But the snook have been around. A lot of snook inside Johns Pass. Snook are starting to stage up in the passes, getting ready to move onto the beaches for their summertime spawn. Look at that big boy snook caught from the beach. Again, prior to the beaches closing. Nobody get upset there. Nice speckled trout. The speckled trout bite has been going really good around the flats and around the bridges at night. A lot of good speckled trout fishing. Remember, trout, redfish, and snook are still catch and release only, so you cannot take home those trout, redfish, or snook. But the flounder bite's going well, the mackerel bite's going well, sheep's head are still biting well. All those fish you can take home and eat. Now, we tried to get away from the virus stuff because I talked about it in the very beginning to try to get it out of the way. And I've seen a lot of comments that honestly just make me a little bit upset. So we're going to reference that right now and get this back out of the way. A lot of people were saying, hey, April 7th is too early. Well, that's what I said. We're monitoring things, guys. We are planning on April 7th, but if things aren't looking good, we're not going to open. We closed before anybody made us. We could be open right now if we wanted to. I made the tough decision to close our business because of the safety of our families, our staff, our captain's crew, and you guys. So I'm not going to open unless it's ruled to be safe and to be okay. So we are fluid, flexible, and watching the situation closely. So please do not say that April 7th is too open or start talking negatively about us trying to open up April 7th, because that is a fluid, flexible date. We're planning and hoping and praying we can open April 7th. We need to be able to feed our families and our staff members. There's staff members that are really needing the paychecks here, people. And we're going to do our best to open. But if it's not safe, if there's still a lot of rising numbers, obviously we're not going to open. So cut it out. If you don't like what I have to say, get off the stream, because I'm tired of talking about this virus stuff. We're going to do the best we can to be safe to keep you safe, to keep our staff safe, and to keep my family safe. That's what it's all about. We're family owned and operated. We're family oriented. We'll treat you like family, and we'll keep you as safe as we keep our own families. So please, let's move away from the virus talk. Let's focus on fishing. So we talked about inshore, let's talk about near shore. So what's been going on near shore? The kingfish bite got really good right before we closed. Unfortunately, the week before this virus really started kicking up in Florida, the kingfish turned on and the kingfish bite was going really good. So it's definitely killing me not being able to go out there and catch a bunch of these kingfish like we normally do in March and April. But a lot of good kingfish action right before the closure. Beautiful fish. And right now, the kingfish are biting really well. If you got your own boat or your buddy's boat and you're able to get out there and follow CDC guidelines, the kingfish are anywhere from about 30 to about 80 foot, 30 to 90 foot of water. Those near shore artificial reefs are holding a lot of kingfish. They love those live white baits, those small blue runners. There's a lot of mackerel mixed in with those kingfish. Beautiful kingfish here. So because we're closed, I need you guys to send me some photos. This was sent in by Brittany. This is Brittany's husband holding up one of the kingfish they caught in their private boats. Because this Friday, Fox 13 is still going to want me to do a fishing report. And I need your photos because normally I have plenty of my own photos from our boats to use for our Fox 13 reports. But unfortunately, with us being closed, I'm not going to have those photos. So big shout out to Brittany for sharing her photos of her husband and hers fishing trip to go catch some kingfish and mackerel. So if you get any inshore, near shore, offshore fish this coming week, make sure you text them to us. Again, that number is right in the upper right hand corner. You can text us your catches at those numbers. Some beautiful kingfish, and look at this guy. This is one of, I've heard of probably a half dozen or so of these billfish caught recently in our area. This is Captain Will Osborne from down in, I think he's in Cortez, so he's south of us over the Skyway, about an hour and a half, 2 hours south. Probably like an hour and a half or less. But Captain Will Osborne of Will Osborne Fishing Charters caught and released this beautiful sailfish on a recent charter. Nice fish for sure. And this is the time of year where we see those billfish show up. So important when you're out there fishing for kingfish, mackerel, or hog fishing on the bottom to have those pitch rods ready. Because, for example, on our most recent 39-hour trip before we had to close, we had a big 80-pound wahoo circle in the boat. This time of year, we see those wahoo, we see those tuna, we see those billfish like sailfish cruise up to the boats, and you have a split second to pass them out a lure or a bait. And if you don't get that or if you miss that opportunity, you're just gonna miss out on the fish. So make sure you have the pitch rod ready. It's important this time of year because you don't want to miss out on a trophy catch like one of those sailfish. My buddy down in Fort Myers was fishing out of Naples area. He was fishing only 60 miles from shore out of Naples, Florida, which is probably about 2.5 hours south of us. 60 miles out in 160 foot. He had what he estimates. I saw a video, so it's totally real. I saw a video, saw the side of his boat. It was time stamped. This is a real story. In 160 foot of water, he had what he estimated to be a 400-pound blue marlin swim up to the side of his boat, circle his boat a couple times. He didn't have a reel big enough to target it, but this time of year, springtime of year, is just one of my favorite times to fish. Spring and fall, these transitional times, basically we're going from cold fronts. The cold fronts have stopped. Now the water's starting to warm up. It gets the fish really excited. In the fall, we'll get another transitional period where we go from summertime to those cold fronts starting to kick up. Water starts cooling off. The fish get really excited. So those transitional times of the year, spring and fall, are really, really good fishing. And right now is epic. So definitely another really hard part about not getting out there and going going fishing right now because the fishing is off the chain. But we're starting to get a lot of good questions. We are going to get to those questions very shortly. We just got to go through our offshore photos real fast. But before we go offshore, we're going to give away one of our free fishing trips. So we're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 people to one lucky person who commented on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Remember last show, we gave away some free stuff on YouTube. Unfortunately, that was because I had someone working who was physically, manually typing every commenter's name into a system that we use to give away those free trips. Unfortunately, due to being closed, I'm the only one working, so I don't have anybody supporting me, so I can't give anything away free on YouTube right now. So it's Facebook only. If you commented on the Facebook stream, you are entered to win automatically. All you have to do is comment one time, you're entered to win. But we're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2, and then in a little bit we'll give away a 10-hour all day for 2, and then we'll give away a 39-hour fishing trip for 1. So let's see who won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Remember, if you're picked as the lucky winner, you do have to shoot us your home address. John Volosin from South Carolina, social distancing, sitting 6 feet from the computer. That's pretty funny. So again, if you're picked as the lucky winner, John, you do have to text us at that phone number in the upper right-hand corner. Text us your home address so I can get you that gift certificate out. It will take a little bit of time to get you that gift certificate because obviously we are closed, but we will get it out to you as soon as we open up. We'll get that mailed out to you. All right, so let's get into the offshore photos and show you guys what was happening offshore before we had to close. Some big monster mangrove snapper on the last 39-hour trip. Beautiful mangrove. This one was just north of 9 pounds, caught by Todd Boggs. Beautiful, beautiful mangrove snappers. Big blackfin tuna. The blackfin tuna are biting really well offshore. We're seeing them on the troll, using those X-Wraps, using those DTX minnows. We're seeing some of those catch and release gag grouper, unfortunately, and catch and release red snapper. Remember, gag grouper are open June 1st through December. They bite best in cooler months ending in ER, so October, November, December is the best time to get those gags, but they are open June 1st through the end of the year. My favorite time is from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve to get those gags. Red snapper are open June 1st through end of day August 1st, so you have all of June, all of July, and August 1st to catch those red snapper with us at Hubbard's Marina. There's that big jackpot winning mangrove snapper. Another shot of that beautiful blackfin. Some monster mangrove snapper. Here's a fat red grouper Richie Golis caught on a vertical jig. Richie was fishing for fun out there, catching some big old fish. Damian Simmons with a nice big mangrove. John Martin with a big mangrove. Jennifer Roberts and a nice red grouper. Todd and another mangrove. Richie Sipple even got out there, went fishing too. A lot of our crew went on that 39-hour, that most recent one, because we were scaling back trips and running super limited capacity. So a lot of the crew was out fishing, having some fun, because we only went fishing with 22 guests on a 70-foot long vessel, so we could spread everybody out prior to closing. Again, this was not recent, guys, so please don't bring that up. Another big mangrove snapper, some big porgies. The bite is going real well offshore, and now that April 1st has rolled around, we're able to get out there into the deep water again. Look at the size of this red hind. Strawberry grouper, red hind. That is about as big as they get. I haven't seen one that big in a long, long time. That is a gorgeous fish. It was 2.76 pounds. Monster red hind or strawberry grouper. Definitely some good eating fish. One of my favorite eating fish is those red hind or strawberry grouper. And another great eating fish is that lane snapper. But mangrove snapper, definitely in my top 5 favorite eating as well. So a lot of good eating fish. Long story short, the bite is going very well inshore, near shore, offshore. Weather has been great. Unfortunately, we are not out there, but the weather has been spectacular. Fishing's been even better. There is a little bit of weather coming up. We're going to get what looks like a late season front, perhaps, there Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday. So the weather is going to pick up a little bit, but until then, the weather looks really good today and tomorrow. So tomorrow's kind of the last shot if you've got your own boat to get out there and go fishing. Remember, you can always go to our website, hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips, scroll down to the weather links. Even if you got your own boat, our website is very helpful because you can go to that weather links page and check out the marine forecasts. And that's what I'm talking about. This weather right here. Tuesday afternoon, it kicks up. And Wednesday morning, it's blowing pretty strong. And that sea height really picks up. But it looks like it's going to lay right back down. Of course, the weather's been absolutely perfect this whole time that we've been closed. And that would be ironic if we were able to open back up and the weather was bad. Oh man, I can't think that far ahead. I can't be negative. Got to stay positive here, guys. But we talked about what we've been catching. We showed you some photos. We're going to get into your questions now. Remember, if you have a question for me, text it to that number in the upper right-hand corner, guys. Text me at that number. I'll answer your questions live on the show. So right now we are sitting at 52, so basically 395. So we're almost at 400 live viewers, almost able to give away a free 39-hour trip. So make sure you tell your friends to tune in because I want to give away a free 39-hour trip. I want to. All right, so let's see here. We're going to get into those questions now. First question. Trying to find a question. Good question here about the gift certificates. Forgot to mention that again. We are doing discounted gift certificates. So let's show you that real quick. You can go to hubbardsmarina.com, click store, and then click gift certificates. So once you click gift certificates, it's going to take you to the gift certificates page. You can see the gift certificate policies on the gift certificates page, and then click buy gift certificates. You can go ahead and click one gift certificate. You can click custom, and you can click up to $1,000 if you want. So I'm going to pretend to get $1,000 in gift certificates. All you do is type in coupon code Hubbards. That's Hubbards, Hubbards. So last name with an S, and look what it does. It takes that $1,000 gift certificate and it makes it $800. There is a 6% fee when you book online. So if you're booking online, if you're buying a gift certificate online, there's a 6% convenience fee that is charged by the booking company we use. So the booking company we use, that's how we book you when you're in person, when you're over the phone, or when you're booking online. The only time they make money is when you book online. They charge that 6% fee. Normally, when our office is open, you can call us or you can come in person or whatever you want to do. Call us, show up to the office. You can avoid that 6% fee because when you book over the phone or when you book in person or buy a gift certificate over the phone or in person, you don't get charged that 6% fee by our booking company. But unfortunately, our offices are completely closed. I'm going down there occasionally to check on the mail, check on the voicemails, emails, but no one is available to ring you up for a gift certificate. So we are running 20% off, but that booking company is still charging 6%. So I guess if you look at it that way, it's still 14% off, still a big discount. So definitely take advantage of those discounted gift certificates while they're around. We're going to have those running the entire time we're closed. But the first question is, can you purchase the gift certificates at the discounted rate from the store to eliminate the 6% online surcharge? No, our store is unfortunately closed. Wish we were open, and I wish we could help you avoid that fee, but unfortunately we are closed, and that is not possible. So, next question is a fish ID question. Someone's asking, I can't make the picture bigger. Someone's asking, what kind of fish is this? And I wish I could make the picture bigger because I could make it real clear, but that is a sea robin, is what my guess is, because I see the little legs right there. That looks like a sea robin to me. So sea robins, some people say they're poisonous. I don't mess with them. If a fish has legs, good idea not to touch it. They are weird looking. They've got like these little, instead of anal fins, they have almost like what look like legs, and they literally crawl along the bottom. They're very, very eerie fish. So it is a sea robin, and yes, they have some slime that has a lot of bacteria. So if they poke you, they're going to hurt you, and it's going to get infected, and it's not a fun day for sure. Let's see here. Another question was just talking about the state of Michigan and how they completely closed charters. What's crazy is the state of Florida didn't close charters. We chose to close because that's what we wanted to do for the safety of our staff and our guests. A lot of charters are still open, and a lot of charters are still running trips. It's not my place to say that they're wrong or they shouldn't be doing that, but a lot of people are still running charters in the state of Florida. There's boats everywhere. There's a lot of people out in their own boats. It's definitely an awkward situation. I wish the state of Florida would kind of do what the state of Michigan did, because Michigan just shut down all charters, all boating, basically get off the water, stay home. The state of Florida didn't do that. We have this like kind of, this governor doesn't want to tell everybody what to do, so he's leaving it up to the counties, and the county does this county does that county does this. It makes no sense. It's not consistent. It's not clear. A lot of people have questions about it, and it's causing a lot of strife. So I kind of wish the governor would just kind of make it unique or make it consistent across all the counties, so that way it was clear, concise, and everybody understood, and set an end date. Let's pick an end date. I mean, it can be picked, we can make it up, but let's set an end date to hopefully see some light at the end of this tunnel, and then evaluate it as that end date approaches. The county has this safe at home order, and there's no end date on it, and it's all a big question. It's very uncertain times. Let's see here. Next question is, when this is all over, what would the best time for me to come from Iowa to fish? The best time to come fishing is anytime. It really depends on what you want to catch. That is definitely one of the most common questions I get asked, is when is the best time to go fishing? But it really depends on you. I mean, what do you want to catch? If you want to catch gag grouper, the best time to go fish would be from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve. If you want to catch red snapper, the best time is June and July. If you want to catch mangrove snapper, pretty much any time of year you can catch mangrove snapper on a 39-hour, but they bite really well in spring and summer. And we catch bigger mangrove snapper in the cooler months. Best time to get amberjack is when they're open, May, August, September, and October. I would say the month of May is probably the best chance for amberjack. So it really depends on what you want to catch. So it's a tough question to answer when you say, what's the best time for me to come fishing, unless I know what you want to catch. So if you give me a little bit more information, I'd be more than happy to help you out. So the next question is, If the closure lasts past April 7th, what are you going to do with gift certificates purchased at the Black Friday sale? So we're closed and we are going to do our best to work with people. But gift certificates are one of those things. You got a whole year to use them. So hopefully you used them before those expiration dates come up. But I mean, if we're closed for 2 weeks, I think it would be fair for us to extend your gift certificate by 2 weeks. So we'll work with you there, but definitely want to watch those gift certificate expiration dates because they are pretty strict. But you have a whole year to use them. So hopefully you can use them in the whole year. Let's see. Talk about hook placement when using thread fins for mangroves. That's a great question when using thread fins for mangroves, and we actually have a great video about that. When you go to our website and click fishing trips, scroll down to fishing tips and tricks. On the fishing tips and tricks page, we have a great video to show you how to tie a double snell rig and a video to show you how to rig that double snell rig. So if you go to our fishing tips and tricks page, there's a how to tie a double snell rig is somewhere in here. There it is, how to tie a double snell. It's at the top, and then you can go down to the bottom here and it shows you how to rig. So the question was hook placement for them, so we're gonna watch the video.
To you today about how to rig a double snell rig. Now, we've done videos on how to tie a double snell rig. Today, we're going to show you how to rig a double snell rig. Rigging is very important to make sure that double snell bait gets down the bottom very quickly, hydrodynamically, and making sure it doesn't spin. Tying a double snell rig is easy to do, but once you rig it correctly to make sure it doesn't spin and doesn't cause tangles on the way down is another challenge.
We're going to make this a little louder for you guys. There we go.
We're going to cover today. So first step for rigging a double snell rig is taking a piece of fluorocarbon. I always use fluorocarbon for my mangrove snapper.
What in the heck is going on? Well, you get the idea. The video is not cooperating with me, but you can watch that video on our website page. It's a really in-depth video on how to rig that double snell rig.
Right here, we're going to tie a double snell rig.
So it's a great video on how to tie a double snell rig, and it makes it real easy to find the hook placement. So that is your answer to that question. Someone asked about where to place the hooks for that double snell rig. That video will answer it for you. So apologize for the volume issues and the lag of that video. I don't understand why that was happening, but it'll work better for you on your end. I'm trying to do too many things. I got too many programs open. All right, next question. I have a trip scheduled for next month. I likely won't be able to fly in due to current circumstances. So if you have a trip scheduled, what we are doing is basically hopefully you will plan on coming back. If you're planning on coming back, we'll transfer your payment or your booking to a new trip or transfer it to a gift card that you can use in the future. So we're trying our best to work it out like that. But if you want to, if you need to, we will cancel you out and refund you. So we are working with people the best we can on those issues. We're definitely being flexible with you. We understand it's a very tough time for everybody. All right, let's see. Next question is, how much experience do I need before I book a 39-hour trip? That's a great question. I mean, you don't need a ton of experience to do a 39-hour fishing trip. It definitely helps. The more experienced you are, typically the more fish you catch and the better overall time you'll have. But what I always recommend is stepping your way up. So if you've never been offshore fishing before, it's not a good idea to hop right on a 39-hour fishing trip. But it might be a good idea to do a 5-hour half day. And then if you enjoy that, maybe do a 10-hour all day. Then if you enjoy that, maybe do a 12-hour extreme and then hop on a 39-hour trip. And your first trip always has a big learning curve. Figuring out how the trip works, the timing of everything, when to sleep, when not to sleep, uh, where the bait is, all that kind of information. And we're here to help you out. There's a ton of videos on our website to help lower that learning curve for you. If you watch all the videos on the website, you read our website really in depth, your learning curve is going to be a lot smaller. And if you're a more advanced angler, obviously your learning curve is smaller. But if you come out, you haven't watched any videos, you haven't read anything of the website, you don't ask a lot of questions, and you're not an experienced angler, it could definitely be a very difficult first time. But once you get that first trip under your belt, you get over that learning curve, it's smoother sailing from there. And typically, I see it a lot where someone tries their first 39-hour trip, they love it, they come back to a second one, they really love it, and then by the third one, they're starting to really catch on. They start bringing home a lot of fish, and then it's history from then on out. So to answer your question, how much experience do you need? You need a little bit to get you started before you do a 39-hour trip. And the more experience you have, the better. But you don't need to be a super advanced angler to hop on a 39-hour trip. If you get a few offshore fishing trips under your belt with us, like a half day, a 10-hour, maybe a couple 10 hours, then you're ready for a 39-hour fishing trip. Just keep in mind, your first trip's going to be a tougher one, so we always recommend picking for your first trip. Don't come during red snapper season, for example, when the boats are full and everybody's jam packed trying to get in that 60-day season or 62-day season. I highly recommend, if you haven't been out before, come during the month of January, February, March, April, May, or come in September or October, those slower months when the trip is less than half full, and you'll have a lot more room around the boat. You'll have more one-on-one time with the crew and captains, and your learning curve will be lowered even more. If you come out for your first time during red snapper season, there's people everywhere. It's a very, very highly sought after time of year. That can definitely make your learning curve even more difficult if you got a bunch of advanced anglers around you not being patient with you trying to learn. So keep that in mind as well. Next question was about, let's see here. It's Zach from Newport Richie. As a recreational angler, what am I looking for to catch red snapper? Big wreck or hard bottom? Um, So I think what he's asking for is where to find red snapper on his own boat or his buddy's boat. And the best place to find them is on one of our 39-hour fishing trips, or a 12-hour extreme fishing trip or 44-hour trip. But in your own boat, if you're trying to go out after those red snapper, I really enjoy fishing for red snapper in deeper waters, starting at about maybe 160 to 200 foot. And I would target those ledges, those structures, those rock piles. Red snapper are very aggressive. They travel in big groups and they tend to hang up off the bottom. So you got to zoom out a little bit and look for that fish show up off the bottom, those bigger fish, and you'll definitely find them. But look for structure, harder bottom. Is always good, and we can chat more offline and I can be a little bit more helpful. Next question is the bait shop open? No, we are entirely closed due to the virus. Nothing is open. Doors are closed. No one's answering the phones. I'm trying to check the messages and emails and mail as much as I can, but no one is at the shop to sell bait, unfortunately. Hopefully that will change soon. Again, tentatively planning to reopen April 7th. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, but that is all based on what will be going on in the world on April 5th and 6th. So we'll let you know. What is the crew doing to keep busy, and is there anything I can do while they aren't making their regular wages or tips? Well, that's a super nice question. The crew is fishing. Will is up in North Carolina with his family up in the mountains fishing for bass and catfish. Captain Frank went out fishing with his daughter the other day to catch a bunch of red grouper. Captain Sal went out on a red grouper trip. Captain Garrett's been fishing with his kids. Basically, most of our crew and captains have been fishing nonstop. Even while we're closed, they're finding their own boats or their buddies' boats to go out fishing. So most of our crew is staying busy doing stuff like that. But if you want to help out the crew and captains, you can definitely reach out to them via Facebook, or you can message me at that number in the upper right hand corner and I can put you in touch with them. But if you want to help support, buy a gift certificate. We're running that gift certificate deal for 20% off, and we're going to do the best we can to take care of our staff in the best possible way. We're working towards some of that relief and that CARE Act money, and then hopefully we'll be able to kick back in payroll even though we're closed. So we are, again, a family-owned and operated business. We try to treat you guys like family who come and visit us, but especially our crew, captains, and staff. So we're going to do the best we can to support everybody. But if you want to go buy a gift certificate and support us to support them, we would appreciate it. All right. Next question. Is it possible to jig for bottom fish on the 39-hour trip? So yes, it's definitely possible to jig fish on a 39-hour fishing trip. I don't recommend planning on doing that during red snapper season when the boat's going to be more full. I recommend coming this time of year when the boat's super light. For example, while we were looking at those offshore photos, you saw Richie goalless with those big red grouper. He caught all of those fish vertical jigging. He really likes to jig fish out there in deeper water. But that's why he came on the trip, because we only had 21 people going. There was tons of room to jig fish. So definitely, if you plan on vertical jigging a lot, pick one of those off times a year where there's not as many people going out. Again, anywhere from January to May, or September, October is all good time to pick one of those 39-hour trips. During red snapper season, during the end of November, December, it gets a little bit busier. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? What is a good artificial lure for multiple inshore species? I would say probably my favorite artificial lure inshore would be a DOA shrimp. You got to work it slow, because it's mimicking a shrimp, so you got to make it work like a shrimp. You got to move it real slow. So if you're retrieving it, if you think you're retrieving it slow enough, slow down even more. But the DOA shrimp is probably my favorite all-around inshore artificial. But it is that time. Let's go ahead and give away a 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. 10-hour all day for 2 guests. Let's see who won. Remember, you got to claim your free trip by texting us your home address very quickly to prove that you're watching live. Because if you're not watching live, you don't get the free trip. So Matt Koss from Wisconsin won that 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. But make sure you claim it very quickly in order to be eligible to win. Just text me at that number in the upper right-hand corner there. Text me your home address, Matt Koss, to claim that free 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. All right. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Next question is cost of a 6-hour trip and where are you located? I assume they're not watching the live show, but we're located in Johns Pass, Madeira Beach, and we do a 5-hour trip for $65 per adult and a 10-hour for $109. We do 6-hour private fishing charters, and they start at about I think it's around $900 for a 6-hour private charter on the hub. Stretching my mental capacity tonight. I like it. Tips on catching blackfin tuna. What depths do you recommend this time of year? Blackfin tuna typically are more of an offshore species, but you can find them a little closer to shore occasionally. We've caught them as shallow as 30, 35 foot of water. But if you're going to target blackfin tuna, I would start at least 100 foot of water. Probably closer to 120 foot is a good starting place. The deeper you go, the more common you're going to find them. Blackfin tuna, you can catch them vertical jigging, you can catch them flat lining, you can catch them trolling, and you can catch them chunking. So there's a lot of different ways to catch those blackfin tuna. My favorite way to do it is just set out a flat line while you're bottom fishing, especially if we're fishing a spot for a longer period of time. That chum line gets established and those tuna will end up swimming up to the boat. And if you got a flat line out, you'll have a good chance at hooking one. So a flat line is a really easy method to get them. If you see someone catch one, then bust out the vertical jig and start vertical jigging for them. And trolling anytime you're out there past 100 foot of water with a Rapala X-Rap Magnum 30 or Magnum 40 is a good idea, or one of those DTX minnows will work as well. But tuna love a tail hooked pinfish, about 50-pound fluorocarbon. About a 5/0 circle hook is a great way to target those blackfin, or just a dead threadfin hooked through the eyes on the same thing. 50-pound fluorocarbon, about 5/0 circle. You want to have a big spinning reel with lots of line capacity, or around a 4/0 conventional with some braided line. For that line capacity and drag set a little looser, they have a pretty hard mouth, so you got to stick that fish. Once you get that line tight, just give it a little yank to set that circle hook, and you can have the drag set pretty tight because you want to get them in fast. Because a lot of times you're catching blackfin because the chum line's established. Those tuna swim up the chum line, and then once you start catching tuna, a lot of times the tax man will show up and start claiming his pieces. So you want to get them in quick. Let's see here. Next question: are you still doing private charters? We could be running private charters. Our bait shop could be open, but we made the tough decision to entirely close. So we are not running any trips. We are completely and entirely closed as an operation for the safety of our family and your family. Next question is, if another good question is to tell your customers if they don't know what kind of fish it is, don't touch it or pull it into the boat. I fished with you guys back in March, and people were bringing in razor fish into the boat without knowing what it is. Yeah, we try to tell people that, but unfortunately, when offshore fishing, I personally do pre-boarding seminars for almost all of our trips, but it is impossible to tell everybody everything. So we mention it in our website, we mention it in confirmations. I try to mention it in pre-boarding seminars, but it's a good idea. If you don't know what it is, don't touch it. That's kind of a good rule of thumb to have in your entire life. If you don't know what it is, don't touch it. But yeah, when fishing offshore, that definitely holds true. If you don't know what kind of fish it is, it's a good idea not to touch it. Basically, if it's brightly colored or multicolored, it's probably going to hurt you. Or if it looks really weird, it's probably going to hurt you. And if it looks like it has spines, it probably does. So you got to be careful for sure offshore fishing. But that's a good point. I will do a better job of letting people know that. Have you ever caught a fish on one of your trips that was not supposed to be caught in the Gulf? We've caught a lot of weird stuff over the years. I think most recently we saw some whales on the half-day trip week before last, which was pretty odd. Don't see a lot of whales in the Gulf, especially nowadays. When my grandfather was around, he saw some whales occasionally, more often than we do now, but that was a little odd. And we've definitely caught a lot of weird fish over the years, but I would say probably haven't caught anything that was the first ever time it was caught in the Gulf of Mexico. At least not in my lifetime. Maybe in my great grandfather's lifetime, they were figuring stuff out for the first time. But definitely a good question. Let's see here. Next question is, are gags open in October? We talked about that earlier. They are open June 1st through the end of December. Next question is, what is your preferred rod and reel setup for sheep's head and what for inshore fishing? I would say probably a good all-around inshore fishing setup is like a 4000 series spinning reel with a good rod that has a nice light sensitive tip and a good backbone. We have a lot of options in our shop when we reopen. My favorite would be a Daiwa Saltist or Daiwa Saltiga 4000 on one of those custom Hubbard's Marina Bull Bay rods. I'm not sponsored by either. I just buy them myself, but I really, really like Daiwa Saltist and Daiwa Saltiga products. And I really like the Bull Bay rods that I custom built for our shop. So check them out. What time of year do you catch the most pelagics? We typically catch the most pelagic species in the spring and fall, and we catch them pretty consistently through the summer in deeper water. But spring and fall is definitely the best time to get the pelagics. When the kingfish are running, when the mackerel are running, that's when we're more commonly going to see billfish, wahoo, tuna. Tuna bite really well through the cooler months as well. Wahoo are just random. Sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't, but more common in the spring and fall. Mahi, those dolphin fish, most common in the summertime, but we do occasionally see them spring and fall. Billfish, again, most common spring and fall, but we occasionally see them through the summertime as well. So to answer your question, spring and fall. Long-winded answer there, but that's what I'm known for. So I got a lot of other great questions here that we just don't have time for tonight. I am wrapping it up a little earlier tonight than normal because I got kids, man. I gotta go help out my wife, and then also got a long day ahead of us tomorrow trying to fill out lots of paperwork for all these different applications that we have to do. So long story short, I'm cutting her a little short tonight, and I'll see you next week, because next week we're gonna be here again. Same terrible show, same bad channel. So next week, April 5th, 8:30 p.m. Hopefully you enjoyed the show a little bit, and hopefully you'll be back next week. Next week, we should definitely know if we're going to open up April 7th or not. Remember, check out our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel, Snapchat. We got Snapchat too. We're going to keep you up to date as best we can, as often as we can through those avenues, and also, of course, email as well. But stay tuned to our social media. Don't forget about us while we're closed. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. But I didn't forget. Let's give away one of those 39-hour fishing trips. So let's see who won a 39-hour fishing trip for two, or a 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. All right, 39-hour fishing trip for one guest. Let's see who won. Remember, if you're picked as the lucky winner, you do have to message or text our page very quickly your home address to claim that free trip. So the lucky winner is Robert Rio of a 39-hour fishing trip for one person, local winner on that 39-hour trip. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week for that for another live show, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for another video update from us here at Hubbard's Marina. Appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging out with us for another live stream show. We'll see you next week, and stay safe out there, guys. Stay home. Stay home and stay safe. We'll see you guys later.